Well, welcome to the car guy. No, I'm not Klaus Kinder. He's here. And I'm the last person that you want to hear about cars from, okay? That's why the car guy is here. And we're going to talk with him about how to really check out a used car before you buy it. Because a lot of us are buying used cars right now because you can't buy the new cars. And we talked about that last show. So right after this, we'll be here with the car guy.
Style, structure, innovation. This year, Spokane Home Builders Association's 17th annual Fall Festival of Homes will be both in person and online, featuring almost 20 of our local builders. Whether you're buying, looking for remodeling ideas, or just decorating inspirations, find it all at the Fall Festival of Homes, sponsored by Ferguson Bath, Kitchen and Lighting Gallery and Bosch. Brought to you by the Spokane Home Builders Association. Local resources and proven leaders.
Conservative is a word used a lot in this campaign. What does conservative mean to you? Does it mean ensuring that your tax dollars are spent wisely? Does it mean that laws and regulations are applied fairly? Does it mean less government involvement in your life? Those were my goals as mayor and still are as councilman. I've consistently worked to make them happen, and I'm asking for your vote.
Paid for by the committee to re-elect Rod Higgins. Well, Klaus Kinder, it's been a couple weeks.
Morning, Kent.
You've been working hard
I have.
in delivering cars and so forth.
I have.
And the question came up when we did a show now a month or so ago about buying used cars and how can we trust them and so forth. You're the expert. In fact, you've had a couple of cases that you've helped friends and so forth to help them deal with dealers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am a dealer, so I don't want to talk poorly about anybody. I really,
No,
truly
no.
don't. But, we are in a position right now where new cars are really hard to come by.
Yes.
And the market is dictated pretty much that if you're going to look for something, your chances are you're going to look for something used or previously enjoyed.
Right.
But what has happened and what does happen, and I think what our viewers need to better understand, is that the reports that we get, these history reports, whether it be from Carfax or AutoCheck or
Doesn't that
whoever,
guarantee everything's good?
No, it doesn't, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, I do use these services.
Right.
Obviously, I want to make sure that when I'm buying a car for a client that, the car's clean,
Right.
that it has a clean title. That's really what I use the services for more than anything else. It's just to make sure that the car wasn't, it's not a salvage title, or it's not a lemon law buyback, or
Right,
it's not a previous rental car.
Right.
Those are cars I won't touch when
Well,
it
you're
comes to
doing
my
your
clients.
due diligence
Exactly.
for the client.
Exactly right.
Right.
Exactly right. But do I trust necessarily the report itself? Wow. That's a tough one.
Do you say that from some experience?
I do say that from some experience. Yes, I do. It's been my experience that the reports that I get back from AutoCheck are generally better
Okay.
or more complete,
Okay.
perhaps. I'm trying to be really careful with my verbiage here, right?
No, right.
Than what I have seen from the other reporting agencies like Carfax.
Okay.
It has been my personal experience that I have seen reports on accidents that were reported on AutoCheck, but not necessarily reported on Carfax. And it's not often. I won't say it's often.
Yeah.
It's maybe 5 or 6 times.
But if you're the one buying it, and that's the car you've just bought,
Yeah.
it means a lot to you.
It does.
It does.
It does. The situation came about a few months ago where I had a client of mine, we'll call him Sam,
Okay.
who found a salesman at a local dealership
Okay.
and was told that
Found a salesman?
found a salesman.
I thought salesmen find you when you come on the line.
Yeah, they kind of do. But
Yeah.
he found a good salesman who actually talked him into buying a car.
Okay.
And he was told, listen, the car's got a clean.
Right.
And a couple weeks later, we find out that when another report was run, the car had been damaged. It had been in an accident.
Okay.
And that's where I kind of got involved. He came in and sat in my office and said, what do I do about this car? I bought this thing. I was told it was, it had been undamaged. It was a
And
good,
even
clean
the
car.
salesman thought it was an okay
Sure.
car.
Sure.
I mean, honestly,
Sure.
based on what he knew at the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I think one of the problems there is that as a previous new car manager,
Yeah.
and having appraised cars before, I would always run both reports
Okay.
just to make sure, or to make better sure, that I'm hopefully telling my clients exactly what's going on with the
As
auto
much
sale,
as you can
as
find
much
out.
as I can
Yes.
possibly figure out.
Right.
But are they necessarily accurate?
Okay.
Well, here's the deal. If your car was involved in an accident and there was no insurance report
Yes.
or there was no police report,
Right.
chances are that accident damage is not going to make it to either of those reporting agencies.
Ah, okay.
So you don't know. And the savvy customer or consumer nowadays, if they can pay money out of pocket to repair accident damage,
Yes.
rather than going through their insurance company,
Right.
and having this negative information not show up on a
Right.
Carfax or
Right.
on an auto check, it happens often.
I can only imagine if
It
my
happens
deductible is 500 and it costs me 800 to fix the car, I'm going to have it done for $800 and it doesn't travel with me.
Exactly,
You know?
exactly. So you're not necessarily going to see
Right.
all accident damage reported on every report out there.
Right.
What the dealers look at when you bring in a car, you're going to bring in your car, you're going to trade it in, you've done your due diligence, you've looked at
Right.
Kelley Blue Book, you've looked at NADA, you've looked at all these wonderful things, what's my car worth? The first thing that a used car manager is going to do is, of course, they're going to run a history report on the car.
Okay.
They want to determine, has the car been involved?
Well,
in an
most
accident?
most dealers run it on both systems or two systems, or
I would hope they would,
yeah.
but I don't know necessarily that
Okay,
they are.
okay.
I know that in this particular situation, they only used one history report,
Okay.
and they swore by it.
Yeah.
Until we found out differently when another history report was run that,
So a lesson here for the consumer would be ask to see two reports.
yeah.
Okay.
And
So that's something we can do to protect
you
ourselves.
can.
Yeah.
I want to see both reports, not necessarily just one report,
Right.
but I'd like to see both. Perhaps even more importantly is because we don't know for sure if the car's ever been involved in an incident or if it's had paint work, it might be a good idea to get an independent third party to look at the car for you.
Okay.
It might be.
Okay.
And have what's called a pre-purchase inspection done on a car. It won't be done for free.
Okay.
They'll look at the car or hopefully you can take this to a third person, an impartial third person, say,
Right.
okay, this is the car. I'm thinking about buying it. Please tell me what the car might need.
What
Has
do
it
I-
been involved in an accident? What are your thoughts on the car?
Okay. So what round numbers will that cost to do that?
It depends on the repair facility, but $200-300.
Okay.
Something
Okay.
like
Well, if you're paying $8,000 or $10,000 or $15,000, a couple $100 might be well worth it.
that. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I said,
So-
there are a lot of cars that are getting repaired that have not this repair work has not been reported to these agencies.
Okay. Yes.
And when a used car manager looks at a car, the first thing he's going to do is pull one of these reports, because not only is he concerned about what he's going to be able to do with the car on his lot,
Right.
but he also has to concern himself with what's going to happen 60 days later if this car doesn't sell.
Yes.
And if they took in the car in trade, and if it doesn't end up selling, the car is going to go to an auction, to a wholesale auction. And everybody at that auction, the
Will
first thing
know.
they're going to do is pull a history report.
Right.
So used car managers are a little bit leery about acquiring a car that's had a poor history report.
Right. Okay.
It may not necessarily bite them in the rear end while the car is there on the lot, but it could bite them a little bit later when they go to sell the car wholesale.
Yeah.
It's
But I think it comes down to what you can do as a consumer and as a dealer, what's reasonable, that you can take the reasonable steps to save you, because a repair today is not inexpensive. But
well, yeah, and the other things with these reports is you'll see a report that may say the car was involved in a accident,
right,
but you never know how severe that accident may have been.
because they fixed it.
Well, it may have been a 300. It doesn't say.
Yeah,
It doesn't.
okay.
The reports don't specify
Okay.
what kind of repair work was done, or how much repair work was done, or what the cost of that repair work was.
Okay,
It could have been a $300 fender bender that's
Yeah.
reported as an accident.
Yeah.
It could have been a $10,000. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
That was reported as an accident.
New front end, everything else. Yes.
So you don't really know. In the case of this one car, we found out that the car had been involved in an accident,
Okay.
and there was mechanical damage.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't just a fender bender. It wasn't just a shopping cart incident. There was physical damage to the car, enough that parts had to be replaced. mechanical
Okay.
parts. So that, and again, you're not necessarily going to see that when you see the report. You're going to see accident,
Okay.
but it doesn't specify again how much, how bad, how severe.
Okay.
And that makes it tough. And again, if the smart consumer, particularly nowadays, almost being forced to buy nothing but used cars or
Yeah.
pre-owned cars,
Yeah.
it's really, really imperative you go out and do your due diligence. And if you're not a car person or a car guy,
Yeah.
right, find somebody that is and have them take a look at the car for you before you buy it.
Okay. Okay. And there are people around like you that will
Sure,
go
I'll
do
do
that.
it. Yeah, you bet.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've got a paint meter. When I go to auctions, I have a little meter that measures the thickness of paint and all that kind of good
Really?
stuff. Yeah, because I can't rely necessarily on all the history
Okay.
reports,
I
right?
hadn't even thought about something
Yeah.
like that, but that would tell you that it's been painted over that section. You can probably pretty much tell which part of the car.
Exactly right.
It says one thing here, but over here it's kind of factory.
Exactly right. And as a consumer, I wouldn't necessarily suggest you go out and buy one of these things. They aren't cheap.
Okay.
Right? But again, you probably know somebody in the car business, maybe somebody like me, who would be happy to take a look at the car. Just make absolutely certain that you're buying a
Right.
a real good car.
That's important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. One thing kind of off the topic, I see Ford is going to 40% electric cars in the next 18 years or
I'm not.
8 years. Huh?
You know me, I'm not an electric car
No, I
guy.
know. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah. You know, if you're at home and you're listening to the show and you happen to have a computer near you, Google lithium mine.
Yeah.
And look at how vast these mines are and how many hundreds of millions of gallons of diesel fuel it took to dig this mine
Yeah.
so you can have a little bit lesser carbon footprint.
And look who's digging in them. Young
Kids.
kids
Yeah.
and so forth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
third world countries, and they got, you know, I don't know. I'm not a
Yeah.
fan. I'm
No,
just not a fan.
No.
I
Did
think-
did you see my report on driving the electric Mustang?
I did not.
You didn't.
I did not.
Well, I expect a review from you. I kind of know what it's going to be. Okay, but
I'm
it was
sure it's a very nice golf cart.
You know, I got a kick out of the fellow that Colby, who took me on the ride and so forth, and he said, "Well, you can put it in reverse and step on the gas." And I'm looking at him like, "This is not gas," you know. But we still use the old terms, don't we? And he said, "Yeah, we do." You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think, you know, the technology is getting there.
Yeah.
I just don't know that it's as clean as everybody, you know.
I was
it is.
surprised with the pickup. That it
Oh, they're
had.
fast.
Yeah, yeah.
The cars are
and,
fast.
and so
Yeah.
forth. And of course, it was new enough. I mean, it was near a $60,000 car, so it would stay in the lane by itself and so forth, and get pretty decent mileage and all.
Range.
The range, okay,
Gets decent
No,
range,
okay,
right.
range. All right.
Now picture this. Picture this. You've been to Costco to fill up your car on a weekend, right?
I haven't. No,
You haven't? Okay.
No.
They have a gas station at Costco.
Right.
Their fuel's pretty cheap,
Yeah.
right? So there's a lot of people that are lined up getting gas.
Yeah.
Right? And you figure if you're behind 3 or 4 cars, it'll probably take you 15, 20 minutes
Right.
before you can fill up. Imagine if you had a line of 7 electric cars and it takes an hour and a half to charge them.
Yeah.
And you're the last guy in line.
I share a driveway with my neighbor, and he has a small little electric car, and I don't talk with him about this way, but why? But okay, but yeah, it's
I understand that. I understand the premise behind it.
yeah, I do
do.
too.
You know,
I do
it's-
too, but
It's just not there yet.
No,
I mean,
it's-
in my opinion, had we gone
no.
hydrogen, we'd have been a lot better off. But that's
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
right? But
okay. Next time you're going to have a special friend of ours on, aren't
I
you?
am. We're going to do a little show with Gabe again. Gabe Tesh is just.
He's in the big cars now.
He's an astonishing young man. He
Isn't
really,
he?
truly
Yeah.
is. This kid has been through hell and back,
Yes.
and he's come out the other side just.
Yes, 6 years ago, cancer in his brain.
And if
Okay.
I'm not mistaken, this year he won 3 or 4 go-kart titles.
Yes.
And this is a kid that, doctors 6 years ago,
Yeah.
driving was maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This kid's just got
And
used-
living was maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, honestly. Did you know he's going to do a show for us?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I talked to him and his dad a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And they're good
Looking
friends of
forward
ours.
to it. And I think people will catch on to it that here's an 18-year-old who looks maybe 16, but smartest young man, nicest young man, who's going to go out and talk with business leaders in the community and so forth, and learn what they're up to. Learn, as you know, so many business people give back to this community, but never get recognized for it. In some cases, they don't want to be recognized for it because then everybody's at their door.
Yeah.
But they have a passion, whether it be cancer or Alzheimer's or something because of family or their employees and so forth. And he's going to be talking to people about that.
You know,
we're
Gabe's an amazing kid. He
Yeah.
really, truly is. He has this, as a previous and retired race car driver,
Yeah.
you know, I never had the talent that Gabe has. There's
Okay.
this sixth sense that really great race car drivers
Yes.
have, and he has it. He has this thing,
Yeah.
right? It's astonishing to watch, and the thing that really impresses me more than anything else is not only is he fast, not only, but he's so controlled.
intuitive.
You know, race car drivers, we get emotional.
Yeah.
We get anxious
Yes,
in a
I can
car.
imagine.
There's this stuff called the red mist when you're in an automobile and you see nothing but red mist, and you're either angry at somebody who tried to take you off the racetrack, or you know, whatever the case may be.
I do that daily.
I know.
Yeah.
It's like driving on the freeway. Yeah, very much like that. But this thing that this Gabe has this ability to just nothing phases him. He
Yeah.
gets in the cart and he does his job, and he's remarkably good
Yeah.
at it. Nothing phases this kid.
Yeah.
He doesn't get angry. He doesn't get upset. He doesn't. He's
And the best part I found is he actually laughs at some of my jokes. Okay. With that, thank you, the car guy.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah.
Careful when you're buying cars.
Yes.
You know, careful when you're buying cars. And
Yeah.
even though a Carfax may come back clean, or even though an auto check may come back clean, it doesn't necessarily mean the car hasn't been damaged or that there isn't something
Right.
wrong with the car. Have somebody else look at the car before you spend a boatload of money on it.
I would say if you know somebody out there that is in the need of a used car, tell them about this program to watch this, because I think they'll be well educated when they go out. And
That's the hope.
That is
That's
the
the
hope.
hope.
Not
You
only
know,
just random people who see it, but and we all know somebody who's replacing their car or whatever now that they're back to work or whatever the case may be. So
That old adage: don't believe everything you read.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Take some time to do some
Yeah.
investigative work
Otherwise, you
yourself.
pay for it.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
absolutely, one way or
yeah.
another.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Klaus, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching. Have a good day, everybody.